Well, the wife and I acquired a new family hauler, that'd be the Buick Envista behind me. This car has no right being as good as it is for the price. Let's get into it. Well guys, welcome back to the channel. This is primarily a Corvette channel with some Mini Cooper stuff, but in the margins I'll do another video. My wife got a brand new Buick behind me, so I thought I'd talk about it. Now, the SRX we had, the Cadillac, was a fine car. It was going out of warranty next month. It's been 5 years since we got it. Started having a couple little issues, so we thought, hey, let's see if we can find something comparable at a decent price. We came across the Buick Envista behind me. In case you don't know, this car starts at about $25,000. For its segment, that is insane for what you get. We got the Avenir trim, which is I guess the highest trim for the Envista, and this ran us right at $30,000, no more. I mean, you gotta include destination, sure, but that's every car. So one of the needs for the new family hauler is it had to have good gas mileage. My wife drives about 30 miles one way to work every day, mostly highway. The SRX being a fine car for what it was, terrible gas mileage. That thing downhill with the wind behind you on the highway, maybe 19 if you're lucky. Yesterday we drove this guy home from DC here to Virginia Beach, and we averaged about 34, almost 35 miles per gallon highway, which is insane. But there is a caveat to that, that being that it's got a 3-cylinder turbo. You heard me right. It's a 1.2, I believe, 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, 137 horsepower, 116 some change torque. It does have an actual transmission, not a CVT piece of garbage, so that was a win. The shifts are great, no problems there, and it had plenty of pep on the highway, and believe it or not, it's geared just fine for off-ramps and just taking off at a stoplight. So we were a little worried about that, but it's fine. It's not a race car. It's more than enough for our needs. And again, I've seen a lot of reviews online, but those are all journalists. This is a review perspective from a owner. So we'll go to the car, start on the inside, go to the outside, and we'll go for a little ride. We'll come back to the exterior in a minute, but man, this is just really a sexy car. I guess you call it a crossover. The sloped roof is just great. I love it. I just really think it helps the aerodynamics and the fuel economy. It's a good height right here where it is. It's almost the same as the Cadillac SUV, but it gets much lower in the back, which is pretty freaking neat. So let's go inside, see what you get. Starting over here on the door card, this isn't real leather, but it's material that feels like leather. It's very soft. It's actually kind of neat. It's very contemporary, and I don't mind it at all. Everything feels good. The metal door handles are great. Really good feel to it. It doesn't feel cheap at all. And I was worried, again, for the price point, that the doors would feel light. They don't. They have a good weight to them, which is nice. Here in your instrument cluster, it almost looks like one large screen. It's not. You got an 11-inch screen over here and an 8-inch guy right there, but at night especially it looks like one continuous screen, and it feels a lot more premium than what it is. Really good materials, really love it, very elegant. As you can see right there, this has a very small 13-gallon tank. This right there got us 250 miles, which is insane for an SUV. Holy cow. Love it though. Lots of cool features. This screen is great. One of the biggest things I hated in my wife's Cadillac, all the HVAC was touchscreen. It drove me insane. Buick has gone to actual buttons for the HVAC. In the Avenir trim, it's different than the ST and the entry level. Those have knobs. I'm not sure why they did that. Both are fine, but this is great. This does come in the Avenir trim. You get a free Wi-Fi hotspot for 3 years, which is insane. I don't know why you need that with phones these days, but it's cool just to have it, you know? Go through some of the stuff here. The sound system, I don't believe it's Bose, but it sounds great. I would turn it up, but then I would get flagged for copyright. But trust me, no issues on the sound. It's not going to blow anything else out of the water, but for the price, really good. This does have a charge pad right down there, and then when you put a phone on it, this little guy turns green, so you know your phone is charging. Fuel economy so far, so actually I was wrong. We averaged 36.7 yesterday coming home. That is so funny for an SUV crossover. What do you want to call it? I just love it. It's insane. Gauges, you know, all the stuff, you can put it to your main cluster if you want to. Man, these tires are really high pressure for what it is. I guess it's just an SUV thing. I'm not much of a truck SUV guy, but pretty cool. All but it's very simple to use. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, AC is on. It's not stressed at all. It's extremely cold. I love it. You got heated seats. The only option this car does not have, even fully optioned, is cooled seats. but I can look over that. My wife's always cold, so it's fine for her. But if I got a truck or SUV, I would want cooled seats. Oh, and of course you do get a actual moonroof that does go back. If I can figure it out here. There we go. Which is nice. It's not a panoramic roof, but it's okay. And yes, I know that this is a brand new car, but driving it home yesterday on the highway, it didn't feel as lighted as it is. It's 3,100 pounds, but it felt much heavier. It handles bumps on the highway just fine. The steering is great. It almost feels like a luxury car, but you're just a little higher. I guess that's why it's a crossover, you know? No squeaks and rattles. Again, it's a new car. I'll report back in 6 months or a year. It could be terrible. Who knows? And of course, you do get leather seats. And I like the stitching. I don't know, it's very contemporary for what it is. These aren't the largest seats, but for our size, it's perfect. It's a cool little Avenir stitching up there. And all this was not necessary, but they did it for the price point, which is awesome. Oh, and the only other gripe I have about the interior, and it's minor for what it is. So you get full electric for your driver's seat, but the passenger feels just as great, but it's all manual adjustments. All right, now you would think the rear seats would be compromised given it's a crossover and the price point, but it's not. The seat's almost all the way back. I'm 6 foot and I was just sitting there driving it around. And I can fit in the back here. And look how much room I have. I have about 8 inches of room. That is insane. There are no HVAC back here, but the cabin's not crazy big, so we can live with that. You do get USB-C and USB, which is a nice touch. They do skimp, though, on the rear door cards. This is like a hard plastic. This is nice, soft touch, but up here and around your handle, it's a cheap plastic. Maybe I can source something to go over top of this, make it look a little better. But again, for what you get for the price, they had to compromise somewhere. I get it. Got some little mat pockets, which are very nice. The leather back here, though, is very nice. You can easily fit 3 adults back here, no issue. We do have a very large car seat from our daughter, but she'll be going to a booster seat soon, so that'll be nice. You get a little privacy thing over top of your rear cargo, which is cool. And there's no little hump right here because it's only front wheel drive, which is nice. So everyone's got nice clean floor. It almost feels like it's an electric car because they don't have transmission tunnels, so which is really nice. Let's go to the back and I'll show you the cargo area. All right, coming back here to the rear, I love this slope, this almost like fastback look. It's really cool. And then here's the dealer we bought it from, Criswell. This will be coming off today. I just don't like that stuff in my cars. No offense to Criswell. And this is the same dealer I bought my C8 at Sticker. They hooked this up. We did shop around. I ended up calling them. They were the only ones that could get us the first wave of shipments at Sticker. A lot of dealerships, if they're on the lot, they're charging $4,000 or $5,000 over Sticker, but we didn't have to worry about that. So give Russ a call at Criswell. I'm not paid by them at all. They're just really cool to work with. And man, that new Buick logo is just sharp. It makes it look a lot less Buick-y, if you know what I mean. All right, and you do get a automatic lift gate. How cool is that for the price point? It blows my mind. It's insane. Cargo area right here. Not crazy big, but more than enough. You can easily fit 3-4 sets of golf clubs, all kinds of stuff back here. This little privacy guide does come off if you want it to. Got a little cubby hole over there. It's got a really good height for loading, if you will. Nothing really to reach over. And look at this. You get an actual spare tire in 2023 with a jack in there. That's crazy. And there's the sticker right there. So vehicle price was $30,335 plus destination, and that's exactly what we paid. Little push button, and you can open this with your key fob as well, in case you're wondering. So let's go ahead and walk around the vehicle, and I'll highlight some of the cool exterior features you get. So just the rear end here, very contemporary, and I still can't believe this is a Buick. It looks a lot more expensive than what it is, and it's just a really sharp looking car, and it's a Buick. It's insane. The fastback look, it's just really cool. This is kind of neat. It's like a Sabre. I don't know what you call it. It's pretty neat. 19-inch nickel wheels. How freaking cool is that? 19 inches on a $30,000 luxury car. Insane. Insane. Oh, it's actually got locking lugs too. How cool is that? You get the Avenir. You get the little Avenir symbol right there. The ST and other trims. See, this is blacked out right there. We get Avenir, and everything's the body color, which is outstanding. The front of this thing is so aggressive. It has no need to be that aggressive looking, but it's really freaking cool. Another thing, these are not your headlights. These are your turn signals and your running lights. Your headlights are actually down here. And these things are super bright at night. Holy cow, we love them. They're great. It's a really, really sharp car. Looks really cool in the garage. I'll show you the engine real quick. Another place you can see where they saved cost was the no struts for holding the hood up. The hood is pretty heavy, and you get just one of these guys. But you know what? I can live with that, no big deal. This is the cute little 9-volt, if you will, motor. It is tiny, but you know what? It uses regular oil, which is awesome. Oil changes will be quick. They will be easy. Plug changes, maintenance will be very, very inexpensive. So I love it. Nothing too crazy. Everything is really thought out, really easy to access, no complaints. Yeah, it looks like doing future maintenance on this guy will be a breeze, which is outstanding. So let's go for a little drive. Man, this car's just sexy. I know I'm biased because we own it, but love it. And it's very quiet. When it's on, you can barely even tell. I know it's on because the AC is on. Very, very quiet. So we got to go to the store. And I'm going to take you with me. And how cool is the steering wheel? This really makes the interior. It's a nice actual leather. This new emblem is nice. Everything is soft touch. Nothing you touch feels cheap, which is nice. From the shifter to your stocks to your wheel, the radio, everything feels premium. It's only in the rear door cards that feel a little cheap. But again, for the price, I'm not complaining. And again, I'm 6 foot. This is the position I drive, and I had 8 inches of knee room behind me. How crazy is that? One other thing that kind of bothers me though is this great wall, which is fine. It looks really elegant. It's a little bit too forward, if that makes sense. I wish it was back a little more, but I can overlook that. The transmission's got some really long throws. Not sure why, but it's okay. It does have the automatic on-off start stop. I hate that. I always turn it off. Any car I'm in. All right. It does have the electronic e-brake. It is what it is. Most cars are doing that. I'm not using my GoPro headgear. I'm just kind of holding you guys, but I'll give you a idea how quiet the car is though. And I'll do a little pull too when we get on a road. But I love the digital gauge, very, very classy. And if you do hear a little rattle behind me, that's simply my daughter's car seats, not the car, so don't worry about that. But yeah, me and the wife were driving home doing 70 in the highway, and it was so whisper quiet. We're like, this is quieter than the Cadillac, which is insane. I feel like I'm talking a lot of good stuff, like I'm an ambassador to Buick. I'm just mind blown at the price point for what you get. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how they do it. Just remember, if you want all the extra goodies like the wireless charging, you do have to get the Avenir. But again, it's a $3,000 option over top the ST. The steering feels great. The brakes feel great. I just love it. This almost feels better than my C8, the leather on this wheel. And then I'll get on it real quick. It's pretty quick. That's probably 80% throttle, but yeah, no problems at all with acceleration. Pretty freaking neat. And also the engine noise for a 3-cylinder doesn't sound bad. I mean, it's not gonna win any awards, but when you get on, it actually sounds okay. Suspension feels so good. Again, the car is not heavy, but it feels much heavier than it is, but in the right way. It doesn't feel, what's the word, cumbersome. It feels weighted and properly, like all the weight's down low. And the Buick Envista is built on the Chevy Trax platform, which that car has come a long way from its previous incarnation. From what I understand, the reviews I've heard, the interior of the Trax is a lot more crude. They spent a lot more money on the interior of this guy, from the suspension to the weight of the steering, to all the creature comforts are much better in the Buick. The sound dampening as well. My dealer was, my salesman was very honest. He said, this is a much better car than the Trax. The Trax is great from just A to B, but this actually has a luxury feel to it, and it does. And this car does have automatic wipers, which is nice. It will detect the rain and start, which is cool. It does have adaptive cruise control and all kinds of fun stuff you wouldn't think it would have. And the rear backup camera is phenomenal. I'll show you that in a second. And again, back to the price point, I think people start seeing these things and learning about them, seeing the fuel economy, and for what you get, I think these things are going to sell crazy. So I think we did right getting one right away. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Oh, another thing I don't really care for is the fact that there's no rear wiper. The rear window has a really good rake to it, really good angle, but even still, water does collect on it. It's big enough you can see out, it's not a big deal, but there is no rear wiper, which I can live with, but it'd be nice if it had one. And real quick, here is your rear view camera. Nice HD. It's not the full screen, which is kind of weird, but still I believe a 8 or 10 inch screen, more than enough, and the geometry actually does work. It's not static, which is awesome. We ordered this car from the dealer again, like I said, sight unseen, and it's the perfect size. We were worried it'd be too small, but it's just the right size. Longer than we expected. The height's perfect. It drives like you feel like an SUV sitting in it, but it drives like a car. I'll get my groceries, I'll give you my final thought. Oh, and before I forget, because I will forget, I have the key fob. You do have remote start, awesome. The key fob feels good, it feels luxury. It actually looks good too. You got your rear hatch open, remotely lock, unlock, and your panic button, really cool. And I get 2 of these keys, obviously. All right, got the essentials. Actually, the first time I'm actually using the liftgate. Oh, that's remote start, I'm an idiot. All right, let's get loaded up. And I mean, aesthetically, one thing we need is some tint up front, maybe a bigger turbo, straight pipe this guy, be all set. So new cars typically have a new car smell. This one does. This one's very interesting. It's not bad. It almost has like a spiciness to it. I can't describe it. The best new car in the world is a Corvette. I don't know why, it smells amazing, but a new Buick smells, it's not bad, it's just interesting. I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely smells new. Well, it is new. So hopefully you found this little talk about review helpful if you're in the market for a small crossover SUV and you want something on a budget. You can't beat it. If you gave me the keys to this car, looking at it, it didn't tell me what kind of motor it had, and you said, what's the MSRP? I would guess $43,000. 43. And you showed me under 30, I wouldn't believe you. No way, wouldn't believe you. So Buick did a good job. I will do a follow-up review 6 months or a year. This thing could be terrible. It might not have good lasting quality. I don't know. This is my first Buick. But for now, me and the wife love it. So throw some comments below. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this guy. So I will see you guys for a Corvette video, hopefully tomorrow. I think it's going to be on the C5Z. I'll catch you guys then. Mark out.